Swahili language categorizes nouns into different groups of classes basing on the grammatical characteristics. The noun group are called ngeli. These noun groups, we call them ngeli. These noun groups, we call them ngeli in Swahili. There are about 9. Kuna ngeli 9, okay? Classes in Swahili. Each ngeli contains nouns that will agree in the same way grammatically with other types of words like verbs, possessives, and adjectives. What I mean here is that nouns in a particular class, all those nouns will agree same with other types of words. Like the agreements of nouns in M1 class will be the same for all the nouns with how they agree with the other types of words like verbs. So we can say a noun like mtoto anacheza, we will also say the same. Daktari anacheza. It will start with a. If it's kikombe, kikombe kimeanguka, a cup has fallen. Another noun in KV class will be kiti kimeanguka, a chair has fallen. So those nouns, they have the similar characteristics there. So for this noun classes, we said there are 9. So each one of them has singular form and plural form. Singular, plural. Like when you say M, wa, it means for M is a singular part, wa is a plural part. Others like NN, so if the letter is retained, or we can just say N class, it means it doesn't have plural. The nouns don't have plural forms. Noun class is fundamental and integral aspect of the Swahili language, and it plays a crucial role in the structure of sentences, communication. In simple terms, we have noun class agreements with different types of words such as verbs, possessive, adjectives, and others. So we have 2 major classification systems of the nouns in Swahili. The first one is traditional classification, and the other one is modern classification. So this classification is just same. Traditional classification, modern classification is classify the same words. So it's not very different. It is not very different. So what is traditional classification? The one that you know already, MWA, GMA, that is traditional classification, and it classifies noun based on their characteristics. Yes, we have these characteristics. Characteristic, so I just have to add here. Characteristic of a noun. For instance, if a noun starts with M in singular form and wa in plural form, it's grouped into MWA class according to this traditional classification. So it will be MWA. Example are mtoto, watoto, mkulima, wakulima. Kulima, wakulima. Another one is mpishi, a cook, wapishi, cooks. Another example is a noun starting with ki in singular form and v in plural form. This is plural form. Will fall in the class ki v. For instance, kikombe, a cup, vikombe, cups. Kijiko, a spoon, vijiko, spoons. Kitabu, a book, vitabu, books. So this is traditional classification of these nouns. So it is super helpful in identifying the noun groups just by looking at the name of the nouns. But though some of the names, like when we say daktari, it doesn't start with an M, but it is in M1 class. So there is some exceptions. So basically the moi class is made up of animate creatures. For the modern classification, it's based on how a noun agree with Swahili verbs or other parts of speech. I.e., it means it names the classes on the marker, we say ngeli, that the noun uses to agree with the verb. For instance, the word is mtoto. Mtoto anacheza. So the verb is cheza, anacheza. So it uses the word, it uses a, anacheza. So it agrees with a. If you say mtoto kinacheza, the sentence is correct, but not grammatically correct. When you say mtoto kinacheza, so that will agree with anacheza. Plural, watoto wanacheza. Children are playing. Watoto wanacheza. So here we will say, we'll take this a and wa, and we call it our class. Ngeli ya our. But this our and moi, just same. Is same, moi and our. We can see that in the noun, that the noun mtoto, a child, is making the verb to take the marker a in singular form, and watoto, children, the verb takes wa in plural form. Therefore, this will be our noun class. So this is useful if you already know. If you already know what? If you already know how these nouns are in which group from moi classification, from the other traditional classification. So this is basically how they agree with the verbs. Okay, so just to remove the confusion, the modern classification is basically how the nouns agree with the verbs. You'll also learn same thing. So it's same concept. Some people can say this, we call this moi class 1 and 2 or class 2 and 3. Some grammars will say that, but it's basically they're referring to the same thing. Another example in our noun class is mwalimu anafundisha. The teacher is teaching. Walimu wanafundisha. Teachers are teaching. Therefore, since the nouns mtoto, watoto, and mwalimu, walimu makes the verb to take the marker our, a in singular and wa in plural, they are grouped into our class. So example for KV class. Kitabu kilipotea. A book got lost. Kitabu kilipotea. Natalie, can you read the plural for kitabu kilipotea?
Vitabu vilipotea.
Ndio, vitabu vilipotea. Books got lost. Kikombe, Kakatito, read kikombe.
Kikombe, vikombe.
Yeah, the entire sentence. Kikombe dash. Here, hapa, kutoka hapa hadi hapa.
Oh, kikombe kilipasuka.
Kikombe kilipasuka. Wingi, plural.
Vikombe vilipasuka.
Vikombe vilipasuka. Asante sana. Kikombe kilipasuka, vikombe vilipasuka. Sawa. So this noun, this nouns, kitabu, a book, and vitabu, books, and kikombe, a cup, vikombe will fall in kivi class as well, because it makes the verb to start with ki, singular form, and v, plural form. Sawa. So both the traditional and modern classification are equally important in understanding Swahili noun classes. The major point is to understand how nouns are groups, how noun groups agree with different types of words like the verb and other. I already say other grammars will identify noun groups as class 1 and 2, class 3 and 4, and so on. However, they'll have the same point of explaining how these nouns agree with different types of words. So here are some of the groups of noun classes. Tutaangalia hapa. Moja is Mwa. Mwa. Based on traditional classification, which is based on the characteristics as a noun. And this side is modern classification. So mwa is classified as our because it takes a with the verbs and wa in singular, a, plural wa. We have another key V. Key V class is same. In modern, it's key V. Jima, it's lia, how it agrees with the verbs. It takes li, singular form, ya, plural form. An example of noun in Jima is jina, majina. Jina, majina. Jina linapendeza. The name is attractive. So it's taking li with the verb. If there are many, majina yanapendeza, names are attractives. So li napendeza and ya napendeza. So that's why we see here li ya. NN is nouns that, so I can briefly explaining some of them here. Mwa is animate creatures in general. Key V, nouns that start with key in singular form, V in plural form. Also, some nouns start with CH singular, VY plural for key V. Jima, so this class has nouns that some of them starting with G, but not all of them, but they have ma in plural form, Jima class. NN, these are nouns that don't have plural forms. So they remain with the same, either in singular and plural. Most of them are borrowed from either English or other language. Example, mesa, which is borrowed from Portuguese, mesa. Also have shule. We have shule from German. We also have penseli from English. Nyumba, we have nyumba. So these nouns remain the same in singular and plural. And so how they are classified with the verbs. Nyumba inapendeza, the house is attractive. If there are many, nyumba zinapendeza. Habari imekuja, habari zimekuja. Habari is new, news, habari. For UN, nouns in this class, they start with U, but they can have different forms in plural forms, UN. So we can have, they will take U and ya. U singular form, ya plural with the verbs. Me. Nouns here in this class are nouns or names of things that start with M, singular form, but me, plural form. Example, mostly the names of trees, they fall into this class. Mti, miti. Mchungwa is a mango tree, an orange tree, mchungwa. But michungwa, orange trees. So for this one, it will be uzi with the verb. How do we say this? Mchungwa umekatwa. The orange tree has been cut. The verb umekatwa is starting with u. If there are many, michungwa michungwa imekatwa. So here is actually ui, not uzi. Michungwa imekatwa. The mango trees, the orange trees has been cut. 7 ni uu. Nouns in uu are actually abstract things. You cannot touch them. You can feel them. Something like ukweli. Most of them starting with u, but they don't have plural form. Ukweli, truth. Ukarimu, generosity. Uongo, lie. So this is uu, abstract concept mostly. So they will take u as well with the verbs. Then we have number 8 is ku. Ku is, ku here is nominal verbs. So the verbs that have ku, like they're in infinitive form, kucheza, kulala, kuimba, kuandika, these are verbs, but they can as well be nouns. So if you take an example of the English word, singing is a verb. But if you say my singing. Now that singing become a nominal verb because you say my singing. It's like a noun. My singing. So these verbs in kuku are, these nouns in kuku are actually verbs with ku in infinitive form. So kucheza, kulala, they can be nouns, okay? So they agree with the verbs, they take ku, singular form, ku, plural. Like, let's say his singing amazed me, okay? Or it made me happy. Kuimba kwake kulinifurahisha. Kulinifurahisha. It made me happy. Kulinifurahisha. If it's plural, same. Kuimba kwake kulinifurahisha. Ku. 9 is pakumu. Pakumu. These are locative noun class. Locative noun class. Yani it shows the places. Pa being specific place. Place that is specific to you, location that is specific to you. We say hapa. Hapa means here. Hapa. Then ku meaning general place. We say huku, this side. This side. So you hear people telling you, njo hapa, come here. Njo huku, come this side. If I tell you njo hapa, it means I'm coming to that specific point that you've called me. But if I'm telling you njo huku, it means I'm coming to that side where you are. It can be maybe, it cannot be necessarily where you are, like where you're standing, but it can be the general place. Okay. Then mu is inside location, inside an enclosed area. Like, let's say inside the brain, inside the room, inside the pocket, inside the car. This is a place we use mu. Now with the verbs, they will take pakumu as well. So example, we want to say this place is attractive. If it's specific place, hapa panapendeza. So this specific place is attractive. Hapa panapendeza. You see, it's taking pa. But this side is attractive. Huku kunapendeza. This side. Huku kunapendeza. This side is attractive. But inside here is attractive. Inside here, we say humu mnapendeza. Mnapendeza. See the verb mnapendeza. Now, with this pakumu, for the modern grammars, normally they can either use pa or ku. They don't make distinction between specific place and general place. They can interchange these words. But mu is where they draw the line. You cannot say an inside location, you use pa or use ku. If it's an inside location, you can use mu. But if it's either specific place or general place, you can either interchange two of them. But previously, it was very strict. You have to use either pa for specific and ku for general place. Now that is about these noun classes, which is how their characteristics and how they agree with other ones, like the verbs. So we'll talk about we'll start by the M1 noun class. M1. Before we start, which question would you like to ask? You might be having a lot of questions maybe about these noun classes. Karibu tafadhali, karibu. Ndio?
Yes, can I ask?
Yeah, karibu Kakawanyang, karibu sana, karibu. Ndio?
Okay, thank you, Mwalimu. First of all, I would just want to comment about these noun classes. You see, as learners like us, it's really very difficult for us to understand the agreement of the noun class with the verbs, with the adjectives, with the demonstratives, you see. So I would request, is it possible if we can go step by step to accomplish all these 9 classes thoroughly well?
Yes, it's very possible. Yes, what I did is I was giving you a brief overview of these noun classes so that when we start with the first one. We cover everything relating to that class. Okay, M1 class.
Yeah.
After you've covered the first class, the other thing will be just same, except for the changing prefixes. So if the root is same, like angu means mine. So for M1, it will be wangu. For kivi, it will be changu. So you see the angu will just remain constant, but we'll we'll talk about each class in details. Asante sana kaka Manyang. Dada Natali, karibu tafadhali. Ndio.
Sana. Would you be able to explain the vowel harmony again? It's like when you're using an object.
Wait, can you repeat again? I didn't get that correctly.
Can you explain the vowel harmony?
Vowel harmony, yes. Okay, this is a modern classification of these nouns. Normally, it is when you're learning about this traditional classification, you will actually encounter how these nouns agree with verbs, and you will wonder yourself, like, why is it called emwa and they are taking our with the verbs? That's why we have this modern classification where it classifies all those that agree with this class, like with the verbs, it takes are in singular form and wa in plural form will be our in that part. So example is just how they agree, the vowel that they take, the vowel or the letters that they take. So for example, mtoto, you want to say a child is sleeping. How do you say a child is sleeping, then Natalie?
Mtoto analala.
Analala, mtoto analala. What about if they're many?
Watoto wanalala.
Watoto wanalala. Okay. Now that is for emwa class. It takes now are in singular form and wa in plural form with the verbs. But what about a noun in kivi, like kikombe? We're just using an example, but this is kikombe. One, if there are many, vikombe. So the verb is kulala. So we don't mean that the cup is sleeping. That's just an example in this way. Kulala means to sleep. How do you say the cup is sleeping? With
Kikombe kilala.
Kinalala. Kikombe kinalala. The cup is sleeping. So we don't say kikombe analala, kikombe kinalala. So we can use a more sensible verb. Kuuzwa means to be sold. Kuuzwa, to be sold. So kikombe kinauzwa. So you see this key with the verb kinauzwa here. If the many, vikombe vinauzwa. We have v here. Vikombe vinauzwa. The cups are being sold. Kikombe kinauzwa. Kinauzwa. Vikombe vinauzwa. The cups are being sold. So, but for mtoto, we say lala is sleep. Mtoto analala. So that verb is starting with a. Plural, wanalala. So all the nouns in that class will take a in singular form and wa in plural form. Unafahamu dada Natali?
Nafahamu lakini ni ngumu sana.
Which part is hard? Which part is hard? Sehemu gani ni ngumu?
Like naweza kufahamu emwa and awa, like ni rahisi na mimi, lakini like Kiwi, Jima, and you and me. Like having the vowel harmonies for each of those, I just can't remember when I'm speaking.
Yes. Okay, now
Like I don't think I would be able.
no, it's not that you don't think you'll be able. Actually, most people who are
Okay.
speaking this, if you ask them, okay, you've used you said Toto analala and you say kitabu kimeanguka. You ask someone like, why do you do this? They will not understand. They will not be able to explain to you because they just learned. They had people using this. They use this way, and they read maybe if they are reading. And but if you can study, and if you study and use, you'll have a better understanding of them than actually the native people, because they use but they don't understand why they use this way. So when you read here and
Okay.
you practice or you get some readings, you'll encounter the nouns are being used differently. Then you can, just what you're studying, you can underline, it will help you understand more. Sawa, dada.
Okay.
Yeah, and after you listen people speaking, then you remember, we learned this, it's like this. Yes. So you'll be in a better position to explain how this is used. Sorry, Natalie. So don't worry, we'll talk about everything and you'll see how simple it gets. Any other question, Kaka?
Okay, so
Karibu sana, karibu sana. Sawa sawa, vizuri sana. Basi tutaenda moja kwa moja for our class, M1. So this is M1. Say our, M1. Okay. Characteristic of nouns. How can you identify nouns in this M1 class? What are the nouns? One, the noun class includes all the animate creatures. Okay? The animals, human beings, animals, and birds, and insects, they will all fall into this M1 class. Most nouns in this category start with M, singular form, and wa in plural form. Okay? Most of them, mtoto, watoto, mwalimu, walimu. Some start with MW and wa in plural form, just like MW, mwalimu or mwanafunzi. Other nouns that may not start with the above format but are animate creatures fall into this category. Other nouns that maybe they don't start with M, singular form, or wa in plural form, will fall into this category, simply because they are animate creatures. So if I ask, why is the name daktari in M1 or our noun class? Why is that so? The name daktari doesn't start with M, and the plural is madaktari. Why is it in our noun class? Kaka Tito, you can try. Daktari is a doctor. Daktari, doctor.
Maybe because it comes from Arab.
No, you tried, but it's not because
No?
it comes from Arab. Hapana.
It's because
I
the
don't know.
doctor is a human being.
Yes, it's because the doctor is a human being. It's an animate creature. The word daktari, so it implies this person is an animate creature. That's why it automatically fall into the first class, the M1 or the our class. Now we'll see just in this lesson, we can see the nouns in this our class, and we'll be able to continue in the next. Okay, now the first one, name starting with M or MW in singular form and wa in plural form. So one, mgeni, wageni. Mgeni is a visitor, wageni, visitors. Two, mjerumani, wajerumani. Yeah, this nationality like German, Germans. Mkenya, Wakenya. Msomali, Wasomali. Mwamerika, Wamerika. So we can go to number 4. Number 4, nani tasoma? Kaka Hoopt, soma, you read number 4 up to 10, singular and plural.
Ndio. Mume, husband. Maume, husbands. Mkenya, Kenya. Wakenya, Kenyans. Mkulima, farmer. Wakulima, farmers. Mpishi, cook. Wapishi, cooks. Msichana, girl. Wasichana, girls. Mtoto, child. Watoto, children.
Asante sana. Kaka Tito, continue up to 15. Kaka Tito, endelea tafadhali.
Two person, watu people, mvulana, wavulana, Afrika, wanaafrika, mwalimu, walimu, wanafunzi, wanafunzi, mwanamke, mwanamke, mwanaume, wanaume.
Okay, mwanamke will be wanawake. Samahani, wanawake. Wanawake. Asante. Mwanaume, wanaume. Asante sana. Okay. Just continue. Finish all up to 20. Kaka. Maliza. Mzee. Katito, endelea tafadhali.
Mzee, wazee, mhandisi, wahandisi, mgeni, wageni.
Asante sana. So these are nouns that mostly start with M, singular form, and wa, plural form. One group. Animates nouns that don't have plural. Some of them are mostly of animals, but they fall into this class. Dada Natali, 1 to 8, tafadhali.
Baba, babu, bibi, kaka, mama, shangazi, mbuzi, simba.
Continue tafadhali.
Kuku, mbwa, tembo, samaki, punda, farasi, ng'ombe, kaka, ngamia, kondoo, ndege, bata.
Sawa. So mostly names of animals don't have plural forms, but because they're animals, they fall into the our or the MWA class. So you can see most of the names there. We have some names like kifaru. Kifaru is a hippo, is a rhino. Kifaru, rhino. It's starting with ki. Kifaru, starting with ki. Vifaru, rhinos. Kiboko is a hippo. It starts with ki as well. So it's still till it falls into the our class because it's an animal. This. Okay. Some names of occupation that have ma in plural forms. They start with ma. Tutapata nani atatusomea hapa ni nani atatusomea? Kaka Manyang, soma tafadhali. Daktari.
Sawa. Daktari, doctor, madaktari, doctors. Dereva, driver, madereva, drivers. Ruvani, pilot, maruvani, pilots. Nahodha, captain, manahodha, captains. Rais, president, marais, presidents. Waziri, minister, mawaziri, ministers.
Asante sana. So you can see these names of occupation. Some of them, they're starting with either, they have ma in plural forms. but because they are human beings, they will fall into the our class, and they will agree same as the other nouns in the MWA class agree. Okay, so these are nouns in that category list. We have an exercise here, zoezi, right? The plural forms of nouns here, right? The plural forms of these nouns. Moja, tupate nani? Kakatito, mwalimu. How do you say teachers? Mwalimu?
Walimu.
Walimu, asante sana. Walimu. Kaka Hugo, mtoto.
Ndio. Watoto.
Watoto, asante. Dada Natali, mvuvi. Mvuvi.
Wavuvi.
Wavuvi. Wavuvi. Vizuri sana. Kondoo, kaka Tito. Kondoo is a sheep. Kondoo.
Makondo.
Makondoo.
Oh,
What did we say about the names of most names of animals? What did we say about them?
stays the same.
Yes. Kondoo, kondoo. Shangazi, shangazi, shangazi. Kaka Manyang, shangazi.
Shangazi wa shangazi.
Wa shangazi. So for
No,
shangazi,
shangazi.
yeah, shangazi. Asante.
Shangazi.
Shangazi. Asante. Daktari. Daktari, kaka Hugo, daktari.
Daktari.
Ndio.
Wadaktari. Wadaktari.
Wadaktari? Is it wadaktari?
Madaktari.
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 Asante
Madaktari.
sana. Madaktari. Vizuri. Daktari, madaktari. Kifaru is an animal. Kifaru. It's a rhino. Kifaru. Dada Natali, kifaru?
Kifaru.
Yeah, it's an animal with the exception. Ki, with a kiwi.
Vifaru.
Vifaru. Sawa. Dereva, kakatito, dereva.
Madereva.
Madereva, asante sana. Madereva, sawa. Mfanyakazi, mfanyakazi. Kaka Manyang, mfanyakazi.
Wafanyakazi.
Wafanyakazi, asante sana. Mkulima, Dada Natali, mkulima.
Wakulima.
Wakulima, asante. Vizuri sana. Tupate kakatito, farasi is a horse. Farasi.
Stays the same. Farasi.
Ndio, farasi. Farasi. Asante sana. In our next lesson, we will learn how they agree with the verbs, okay? Agreement with the verbs or with the possessives. So you can see here how they agree. We'll learn about this in our next lesson, sawa?
Sawa.
Asante sana. Kwa heri, tutakutana kesho. I will update this in the drive. Tutakutana kesho, sawa?
Sawa, asante sana.
Okay. Kwa heri.
Ay, man.